I can't remember. Hang on, I'm sure it's in here. It'll jump right at me. Bootstrap Magic, Bootstrap Modal, Bootstrap.
Oh, that's useful.
Initializer. Bootsnip, there it is.
Bootsnip, okay.
Yeah, so like if you can't find it in getbootstrap.com, like the way this page is set up is like, here's the basics, getting started, explaining every stuff. Here's what you can do with the styling and the CSS, so it kind of helps you figure out how to make things look the way that Twitter is the model. The way Twitter looks is kind of how I guess Bootstrap got started. Then we have our components, which components are going to be mostly your HTML side stuff. Here's all your nav bars, your labels, badges, the Jumbotron. And then JavaScript is going to be your JS file. So this is going to show you how to manipulate the components to do what you want it to do. So this is actually the wiring of Bootstrap. And so this is like the template that's like built in, ready to go, and it is included in. So we're taking in the Bootstrap CSS and the Bootstrap theme CSS, and down here we are taking the Bootstrap JavaScript, and that is jam-packed with everything that you can get on this page. Some geeks out there have created Bootsnip, so they have really fun little snippets of code that you can just append into our JavaScript stuff. So this guy's got he's got, I don't know, it's really handy because you just take their snippets.
Wow, and you can even sort of try it out before you buy it, so to speak.
Oh, yep.
That's nice.
So that's what I did when I had that little side thing. So where's the search? Search. Where's the search? Is this it? Oh, nice. Okay. So I did a vertical nav bar. I want to see if nobody has one. Vertical. Yeah. So I liked one of these, and I think it doesn't look like any of these, but here's a preview of it. I can steal the HTML, I can steal the CSS, throw that in main CSS, and then here's the JavaScript to get it initialized.
Holy God.
Yeah, I know, isn't it great?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's really, really cool. But then you get into like, what the heck does Bahoichi? Where did they come up with that? Oh, I guess that's the person's name. Oh, look at there. Will, you were right on track with your name. So that's where that came from. Oh, nice. All right, so let's go back to what we were doing earlier with, I'm going to start from the beginning of adding that new little template, if that's okay with you guys.
Yes, please.
All right, so let me take this out, and we were working in Will.js, and okay, so everything's back to square one, and what we're going to be doing is we needed an extra screen to pop up for the results when we had multiple patients. So right now we just have this alert. Yep. And we need a new screen. So
although now I realize I'm going to have to get rid of that. Like we can't just press this. You press that and everything comes up.
So, we're gonna replace that. So yeah, because I just went with I just took out everything. So I went right back to what you had.
Okay.
All right. So we want a new modal, and a modal is what pops up like this. This is a modal. We're going to want another one of these to pop up and show our other patient. So in Get Bootstrap, under it's under JavaScript. Right here it says modal. Takes us right down here. I read what it is. I see an example, and I'm like, yep, that is what I want. So I'm going to steal this template. Not steal, but it's free. It's open source, which is awesome. And wait, let me explain what's happening here. So they're showing you have a button right here. It's got built in a way to target the modal, so data target, and it's using jQuery's syntax right here. So it's doing pound, so it's going for an ID. So ID of my modal, right here, ID my modal. So this is going to be rendered on the page when the HTML is loaded, but it will be automatically hidden because it's following Bootstrap's CSS. So it's got an initial display of hide. This target is going to change that to display show. It's actually got a little bit of animation where it comes from the top and is all fancy stuff, but that's all behind the scenes. And that's basically it. So we're going to take this shell, come over here. You can see right here I have the check-in modal. Same setup. It's got all the class. I'm just ignoring all that. All I had to do was change the ID. And we're just going to stick this bad boy right underneath it. So we got our new modal.
Now you could stick that anywhere, correct? Because
I wouldn't say anywhere. You wouldn't want to stick it outside the HTML tag.
Okay, yes. But because it's something that's sort of showing up on the fly, it doesn't need to be as organized as some of the other things. Like, for example, all of the stuff at the very beginning that shows the initial screen, that needs to be in order. But all the hidden stuff can be in any order whatsoever because you're turning it on and off as you go. Yes?
Yes. Okay, so it can be in any order. Like, I can have this above this. That doesn't matter. I guess it's which, like, I can paste that right here. It's going to work all fine.
Yep.
Yeah, same way. But with HTML, nesting does matter. So, like, if I put this inside of, like, drug screen, it's, even though if I'm telling that modal, like, if I put that right here, if the drug screen is hidden, you'll never see this.
Okay.
So it does inherit its parents' CSS also. So you can put it anywhere with its siblings, but it does need to be at that level. It doesn't need to be a child. All right, so I'm going to change this. We were using multiple patient selection. Yeah, all right. And so right out of the box, this comes with a title of the modal. It gives you a section for your body and a footer with some buttons if we choose so. So let's just show how we're going to show this. Take this ID, copy it, go into will.js. So when we have multiple ones, we want to trigger that bad boy to show. So we're going to do this, and there's explanations on how to use it in here. Let's see. There should be. One second. Let me find it. What? Did they not even tell you how to use it? It's. I know it's .modal, but I want to show you how I found that. Okay. Oh, what? This is at the very top. All method should accept an optional option object, blah, 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 blah. Hang on, I think it'll be useful to see how okay, there it is. Due to how HTML defines its semantics, the autofocus HTML has been blah, blah, blah. To achieve the same effect, use some custom JavaScript. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay, here it is. All right, so like over here on the side, modal, example sizes, remove animation, and then varying content based on trigger buttons. So this is where we can do via JavaScript, call the modal with an ID with a single line of JavaScript. So this is how I'm calling it modal. And then modal also has these options. So I could do dot modal.
Excuse me.
It's gonna just toggle. So if it's shown, it's going to hide. If it's hidden, it's going to show. But then I can also throw in some parameter, or I can throw in some options, which is awesome. So awesome. Show. Yeah. So anyways, you can go through here and just see like all the options you can do: toggle, show, hide. There's just so much built in, and it's just the rabbit hole just keeps going on. It's so cool. But we're just going to toggle it for now to show. So just to backstep, we threw in the template that we want. We didn't do anything but change the ID. We're using that ID to select it, and then we're doing the dot modal to toggle whether it's visible or not. So refresh, check in. This is the button that's going to trigger it, and boom, we still have the alert, and there's the modal. Let me get rid of that alert so that it's not confusing. Check in, boom, modal. Okay. Now we want to populate this, and actually a little bit later, I don't like it that high up. I want to change the CSS and move it down. Go back over here. We have the title, so we're going to just call this patient selection. Here's those dot dot dots that we see right here. This is where we're going to want a list of all the patients. So I'm going to jump right back over to Bootstrap. I'm going to go to maybe components where we found it. List groups. And that's pretty much what we want. So I'm going to just follow suit with this. Copy this. UL is unordered list. LI is list item. There is an OL, which is an order list, and it automatically organizes your list, I think. I don't know. We can come back to that later.
It adds the numbers.
Oh,
like
okay.
1, 2, 3, yeah.
Cool. I'm going to take out all this examples. Keep one so that I know what class it's expecting. So I'm going to target specifically this ID. I'm going to go into the class modal body because that's where I want the information to go. And then I'm going to specifically target this class list group. So before we show it, let's go through each data entry. And then this built-in function takes in 2 parameters. If you Google, which we did a second ago, if you Google .each in jQuery, it tells you this is the built-in setup for it. It takes in first parameter is index, and the second one's the element. And we don't normally use the index, unless, of course, what James said, if we wanted to actually put a number in front of each of those list items, we could use E. Of course, we have to +1 because it's using the first index of 0. Here's where we're going to put a function, and we're going to target specifically this ID. Space, that's going to go into its modal body. Did I spell that right? Modal body, I did. And then we're also going to copy that part and do boom. So we're targeting that. We're using jQuery's append, which is the same thing as JavaScript's append child. And we're going to throw in this name. So right now, this would just go in. Oops. The pink right here is telling me that this is, hey, you didn't initialize this, so I'm going to treat it as a global, and that's going to mess up. So that was a good indicator for me to say somewhere we were initializing that. So now it's all happy and good. So just throwing a string inside here is not going to do as much, because that would be the same thing as just putting like Michael Hayes. Wow, I really messed my name up right there. But so that's not going to do anything. We need to follow suit with the structure. So we're going to take this part. Oops. Oh, can't look at that. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Oh, crap. We're going to go into here. Right before we put the name in, we're going to put this string in front of it. So we're going to surround the name with a list item. Why doesn't it like that? Oh, double quote. You got that? So we got the first part of the list item HTML. We got the name, and then we're going to have to end it. And at this point, this is where I usually start lining stuff up so it's easier to see. I hate horizontal scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of this, I'm going to just close this list item. And that's all I had to do. Yeah, close the list item. So, what we should do first, though, is we want to empty this. We want to empty it just in case we are doing a search after a search. We don't want to keep appending. So I'm going to, right before I do this .each, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to use, whoa. Are you serious? Oh my God, I love NetBeans. I didn't realize you could do this. Oh my God, there's a jQuery 8. Oh my God, I'm freaking out right now. Okay, wow. Look at that, guys. Like, usually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
So this is showing you all the jQuery functions. Yeah, like fade in, fade out, fade to, fade toggle. What the heck? Fade toggle. Whoa, that's okay. All right, so we're going to use .empty. Oh man, that's so cool. I love that. We're going to empty that list group. So if I've done this all correctly, this is going to go through each patient and add a list item into this list group. And just to make sure that I know this is working, I'm going to keep this. I said I was going to keep this example in here just to prove that it does clear it out upon loading. Boom.
Okay.
So we're gonna, after that, we're gonna do more stuff and keep going. So I think that was a good example of how to create a new modal.
Okay.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. So what do you want to? Will, do you want to make these clickable? Do you want?
Yeah, that's yes. I want them to be clickable, and then it goes back to that page.
Okay, so we can do it two ways. We could either let it click and highlight and make them come down here and select it, or we can just, as soon as they click on one, it's going to just close this and fill in the information.
Yeah, I think the first one would probably be best.
The first one where it highlights and they have to go down?
Sorry, the second one.
Okay, the second one. So that's a little custom. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go through the steps I would do as myself.
All right, before you go through that, Will, you're recording, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so the Girl Scouts thing is starting again, so I need to go. I will be attempting to try to come back as soon as possible again, because this is a lot of information that I really want to see.
Okay.
So
We'll be.
try not to have too much fun, and I will return.
Okay.
I'm still so excited about that JavaScript showing. That was so cool.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. I've been doing it all in PyCharm, but I like NetBeans.
Yeah, this is new to me. I didn't know that this jQuery API XML existed. I'm so excited. And oh my god, it shows everything up there. So I bet you, look at that each. Look at that each. Right there, function, index element. That would have answered your question before, and you can read.
I think I'm going to switch to NetBeans.
Oh my god, I'm so happy right now. I'm so excited. Okay, so here's what I would do first. So what we know at this point is we want the user to first be able to visually know that these are clickable. So you may not know it, but you have been trained to look for that little hand to know that it's an indicator. So you see my cursor is a pointer, and then there's a...
Right.
So the first thing I want to do is I want to make these do that same trigger so that the front desk is going to know these are going to be clickable, and that's a CSS thing. So list group, it's as easy as doing this trigger pointer. Yep. So now it's a pointer every time I hover over it.
So explain to me what's going on the right.
On the right?
Okay, so this is your console.
Yep.
And the right is the CSS file?
Yep.
Okay.
So this is my styling side right here.
Right.
You have a bunch of tools right here. Okay. There's that word again, DOM breakpoints. This is going to show you all the style, and it also lists it in the order that it will do it. So like CSS goes top down. So one thing I've ran into in the past is if I put this Jumbotron CSS at the top of my file, somebody working in the same file way down here in Will's section, if you came down here and you did the same thing, but you wanted the padding to be like 100, top down, so
that would win.
Of this is going to trump the one above it.
Okay.
And that sucks. But this right here will show you in order of what. See, like, you can see specifically... okay, so, like, here the user agent style sheet had a display of list item, but this display block from Bootstrap min CSS trumped it, so it's taken this one. And because we loaded our main CSS after we loaded Bootstrap min CSS, our CSS will trump anything in there, so we can override the built-in styling, or the Twitter styling, if you will.
Hey, one question about that console. The way that I understand it, because I've been using it to troubleshoot, and I see that it will actually allow you to edit things, which I was surprised because I thought it was display only, but I couldn't find any way to save stuff. So, do you have that ability with the console, or is it just display only?
Yeah, there is a way. It might be right here. NetBeans, propagate changes done in the CDT back to NetBeans ID and save them. I just don't check it because I go crazy.
So you just try things out in the console, and then you go over to your NetBeans environment and make the actual edits.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So, like, if I wanted to, like, okay, so all these are list items. They all have the same class. And if I wanted to not override this, because this one's going to first child, and that's why when I did this pointer, it's only showing it to that first child, because that's what matches the CSS. I can come over here to this plus, click on this, and it automatically knows what I'm wanting. So it's like, hey, I think you wanted to change all the list items that have this class. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. So I want to do cursor, pointer, and now all of these have pointers.
Okay.
And so this is a tool in Chrome, Inspector Style Sheet. So this is like a dynamic style sheet that's alive right now in this version of the browser. And then what I would do is, once I'm happy with my styling, I don't know if I would want to do margin bottom of maybe like 1 pixel to kind of, do I want to do that? Do you like that? No? If not? Yeah. Okay, whenever I'm happy with it, yeah, I basically just like, I will copy like this over the CSS. Try to find a good little home for it. I forgot the name of the class, but I'm just going to go ahead and paste in the changes. Come over here, get the class name, and bada bing, bada boom.
Okay.
But since we don't want to do this globally for everything that has list items, because I'm sure someone in the future is going to want to use list item, and they're like, "Why has this got a pointer? That's weird. It's not clickable." Let's target specifically our modal only, and so we're going to say only change this. Okay, we're going to target that ID, and then we're going to say only change list group items, list items with that. So now our cursor pointer is only going to happen.
Isn't that pound jQuery?
Yes, it's the same.
So you can use jQuery within CSS.
They try to made it easy so that it's the same syntax, so that it makes more sense. So yeah, you can use dot for class, pound for ID, and then you can use, what's an example? You can just use the name of the element and just target all of them. Like if I wanted every div on there to have a background color of red, you can do that. Yeah, so it made it easy to do that. They're called selectors, actually. I think that's the name for them. You know what? Hang on, I got a hunch. Boom, yeah, see, selector. So selector, a string containing a selector expression to match elements against. So the type of selectors will be list item. See how they did find list item? List item is another selector right there. So yeah, they're called selectors.
Okay.
All right, so first step was to make each one of these visually known as they're clickable. Now we need to do a click event. So I'm going to tie in inside this list item. I'm going to have on click, and then the name of our new function. Select this patient. Function, select this patient. Now there's two things I could do. This will, let's see. Hang on, let me think.
Well, you can use, just so you know, I guess for an endpoint, the code that I wrote above that's like place data, like if you can give it that structured data that just has one element, like that would be something that you could pass, and then it would just show it out on that display.
Oh man, that's genius. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna pass in. What did you say? Data what? Wait, result content?
Oh.
It looks like it. That looks like the content. Let me see what you're doing down here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I will have, because right now I'm just deciding whether or not it's greater than 1. But I guess I could.
It looks like everything you're targeting is in content, so that's as far into the tree that we want to go. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna, I could send an entry, and then we could target content inside that, or I'm just gonna reuse what you have here. Just put
Okay, sounds good.
So here's our on click inside here. List item. We gave it the name of the function that we were creating. Select this patient, and we have one parameter where we're sending in an object. So down here we need to have a name for that that parameter. So it's going to take that object, and we're going to name it patient in here. Or you know what? Let's just call it the same thing so that'll be less confusing.
All right.
And then at this point we're just gonna
Log it.
console log it just to. Hey, Bert, hang on.
I love that I recorded that.
Get out, dude.
Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
All right, so we're gonna just console log this content just so we can see if we are on the right track.
Okay.
So I'm gonna open it with my console so I can see. I'm gonna clear it out because I don't like that. Bada bing, bada boom, and boom. Oh, unexpected identifier. So this tool right here, index.html line 1, it's going to tell me, oh, that's not helpful at all. All right, so I've done something wrong. First of all, let me look inside here and see. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can't pass in just like that. What? All right, here's what I would do. Okay, this might get a little confusing. Are you cool?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to pass in.
Like I said, that's why I record this, because I will have to revisit it.
Okay, I'm going to pass in this. And this is just that instance of this list item. And because I appended with jQuery and I can, at this point in the code, it exists in the DOM, so I can target specifically that one. It should be in the last position. I'm going to do last, and now I'm going to bind this data to it.
Okay. Okay, so let me see if I understand the code. So you're appending.
Appending a string.
So you're actually making the button, or I'm sorry, you're making the event or the list item and giving it an event on click, and you're calling select this patient with the information that is in the list item. And so you want to bind the data to that list item so that you can use it within select this patient. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I just realized that I'm selecting the last list group and there's only one. So I need to actually go one generation further and say, give me the last list item. And I'm binding this data to it. So here's what I'm doing right here.
I'm sorry, why last?
Because we are going into this list group and we're appending, and we are appending a string, and you can't bind data to a string. But once this fires,
okay,
it's gonna jQuery will convert this string into an actual JavaScript list item element.
Got it.
Is boundable. So once that happens, I can target it because I know append adds to the end of it appends at the end. That's what append means. There's prepend and there's append. I can specifically target. For sure, I know the last element that was appended is the one that I'm wanting to deal with. Target that list item and bind this data.
Got it.
I wonder if you can. Oh man, look at that! So for data, what I'm doing right here is the second data.object, but you can also treat it like a dictionary. So you can put a key and then the value.
Right.
So yeah, look at that. Look at all this. Look at all those examples. Awesome. Okay, so now that we're binding the data to this list item, and then in our onClick we are passing in this. Let's just take lob this and put in results content in that. Check in. Click. That should have triggered our function. We'll know if we can have glob this. Glob this exists in a DOM, so I know that that function was called, and it has the list item element, and so we can use jQuery to glob this, and data without any parameters is going to return what it is. So boom, now we have all that patient's information. How cool is that?
Outstanding.
All right, let's keep going. Once we have all that information, first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to close that modal. So we can copy this line, close it, and then...
Whoa. Let's close it.
Yeah, so watch. Copy that. The modal is open.
It's because it's toggle. Yes?
Wait, I told you wrong.
Oh.
Maybe I need to put in hide.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Well, while you're
Hello?
checking, I was looking at some of the fire resources. You know, you were asking the other night, how are we going to take like the check-in information that the patient might provide, you know, like the reason for the visit or that sort of thing.
Yep.
And associated with the patient, there's an encounter resource type that basically is supposed to cover, you know, whenever there's an encounter between the patient and the healthcare, including like a visit like this. Would it be, I mean, I know that's not one we have in our data set, but I'm wondering if should we try to maybe use that format and
yeah.
if we could put it back in our fire server or not, if it doesn't support it, but at least maybe we can show that we're trying to stay with the fire.
I think someone should make a note that we should add Chris we should ask Chris for that. I think that would be very useful in our app.
Because the reason for visit or whatever, or a counter code or that sort of thing, that's all included in the encounter resource.
But
yeah, and that would be a really good tab right here to have encounter history, which that's not a sexy way to say it, but like have the doc say, click this, and he can see, all right, well, I see you keep coming here with a headache. Maybe you need to just take an Advil and not come in. I don't know.
I mean, even like email is an encounter, so you know, any kind of communication can be considered an encounter, but a visit is one. So,
all right. So, switching back, Will, we were at the point of the first thing we want to do once we click this is hide this
right.
modal, and then we're going to just copy your
Well, you could stick that into a different what do you call that function.
Yep. I like the way you think.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that to you.
Okay.
So you should have enough.
Yep, that gives me enough.
I just want to make sure that it hides. It does. Cool.
Okay, outstanding.
So Cheryl, do you want to move forward with this encounter stuff? Because that sounds like something I can add to here.